This is Women Road Warriors with Shelley Johnson and Kathy Tuccaro. If you drive long haul, short haul, or heavy haul, they're here to empower and inspire women in the trades on tncradio.live. So gear down, sit back, and enjoy.
Welcome to Women Road Warriors with Shelley Johnson and Kathy Tuccaro. We're a show that works to inspire and empower women in trucking, in the trades, and everywhere. We tackle all kinds of topics and work to encourage women to be their very best with informative guests and women who are champions. I'm Shelley, and
I'm Kathy.
Today we have a more serious topic, but it's about a film that you definitely need to see. Human trafficking is a heinous and very profitable practice with profits into the billions of dollars. It can be found in North America in just about every city. We're trying to educate people about what to look for and ways to stop this terrible practice that enslaves people in the 21st century. Red Light is a cinematic fictional film about human trafficking. Led by their ruthless, hardcore, yet elegant leader Queen Madam Loray, played by Karen Martin, the 751 crew preys on female victims who are easy targets for abduction into a life of being a sex slave. These are young women who aren't paying attention. They're distracted by their cell phones. They trust too easily. They let their guard down. They're abducted, and once captured, they're forced into the sex trade, a life of abuse and no escape. The ones who try to escape are called red lights. This film follows the strongest red light of them all, Brianna Holloway, played by Laveta Cameron. She rallies for herself and other victims to find a way out of the vicious underworld of sex trafficking. This is an educational film everyone must see. It's an eye-opener for both parents and potential victims who can unwittingly be forced into a life of slavery. Red Light is a Lady Ninja Storm production. The film is written, directed, and produced by Laveta Cameron. Karen Martin is the executive producer. Laveta and Karen are with us today to talk about the film. Welcome, Karen and Laveta. I really appreciate you being with us today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Yes,
What a pleasure. Thank you, Shelley and Kathy, for inviting us.
Yes, we appreciate it.
So I thought I'd start with you guys telling us a bit about yourselves and what motivated this whole film, which is so important for people to really, really know what's going on with human trafficking today.
Well, okay, I guess I'll start. My name is Laveta Cameron, and I am the creator, the writer, director, producer. I also star in the movie Red Lights. I honestly wrote the film, not per se, it didn't start out being about human trafficking. That wasn't the catalyst. It was more so Miss Karen right here, Walla Martin. And I wanted to give her character, her as an actor, a different type of role to play. So I was trying to think of a compelling character for her. So I thought of human trafficking, and she could be this big boss. And then because I do martial arts and I've always been taught self-awareness, about your surroundings, everything like that, it felt like a natural progression to delve deeper into the human trafficking market and to really make people aware of what comes naturally to me, but not to everyone else, to be aware of their surroundings. So I wanted to shed light on it. And Miss Karen, she definitely delivered in her role as Queen Madam Loray, the big boss of this whole human trafficking organization. And this film, it's all fictional, but it makes you think that it's real when you're watching it.
It's fictional, but it's based on what's really going on, isn't it?
Yes.
Oh, scary, scary stuff. Karen, tell us about your background. Who are you? What do you do? And what was it like to play a madam in this?
Yes. Karen Martin, thank you again for inviting us. This is truly a pleasure to be here. My background it started in fashion years ago when I was a young girl, and then theater, and now film. I grew up basically as a theater baby, if you will, and graduated, I guess you could say, into film. So I'm an actress first, and then I started directing and producing projects. And Laveta, I play, just so you know, I play a lot. I always get cast as the teacher, the mother role, the principal, the good girl, so to speak. And Laveta noticed that. Actually, we were on set on a short film we were doing that Laveta was No Games it's called. And again, on No Games, I played the mom. And Laveta said, I want to see you in something a little more racy. I'm like, yeah, I want to do something a little more racy as well as do comedy. And so Laveta created this character, Queen Madam Loray, and said, Miss Karen, I need you to, get into this role. Oh, Queen Madam Loray is a beast. I personally, as Karen Waller Martin, I hate this woman. Okay, and the audience is going to hate her, but at the same time, she is fierce. She's in control, and unfortunately, at the sake of these women. Okay, so she's even in control. All of her team is all men except one. No, she has two women also as ploys, I guess you can say, because sometimes women trust women, and unfortunate, those women that they're trusting is on the wrong side. They're on the human trafficking side of things, and that is how we actually in the film we used a lot of women to get the women to trust them, and there's the men lurking behind them, just, ready to grab them up. And again, this is fictional. So my Karen Waller Martin has nothing to do with, disclaimer, human trafficking. This is all fictional film. So, yeah.
Can I just say something? I volunteer with Operational Underground Rescue with Tim Ballard, and I watch a lot of, things that come through that. And what you just said reflects directly what is reality, what happens. A lot of the times, youth will go into youth, like young girls will go into youth, like youth centers or, drop-in centers for teenagers. And it's the young girls who approach other young girls to kind of like as bait. They're used as bait. Yes. Draw out the ones from the shelters, from the centers to bring them out. Hey, and because these girls are already vulnerable, well, they're going to trust more a young girl than they would a guy.
Sure.
Yeah. Right?
Yep.
So what you just said, it was reflecting in this movie is actually happening.
Oh, it really is. Mm-hmm. And Karen, if everyone hates your character, you've really done your job.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah, absolutely. So where is this movie set? Is it in a big city? Is it a brothel? What is it all about?
It's in a big city. I guess we didn't say it, but it did shoot it in Philly. Mm-hmm. So different urban areas. But it's kind of low key. Like as you're watching it, the scenarios where kidnappings happen, it wouldn't seem like it's anything out of the ordinary. It happens on regular streets, regular like bank tellers, regular supermarket parking lots. The kidnappings are just normal situations that people do every day that you don't think you could be picked up. Like going out on a date from online dating, things like that. So the scenarios are just so everyday life. Like
the scenarios are definitely everyday life. And again, these women have blinders on. And my crew know that. We all know that these women they're basically telling them they're stupid women. Like, exactly. Come on, like open your eyes. Stop being so naive. And these women are so naive, and it's reality. It is reality. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately. And, like Laveta.
That's what we're trying to teach the audience as they're watching it, how.
At the Mac machine or coming out of the supermarket, going into your trunk, putting your bags in your trunk. It's just unbelievable. Walking down the street with your book bag and your cell phone, and you're not paying attention to anyone but the phone conversation or the text messaging or what have you.
Oh, yeah. And people do that all the time. It's just amazing.
Exactly.
People walking zombies, I've watched them in big cities. I'm surprised they don't run into each other on the sidewalk, but they don't have any situational awareness. So it leaves people very vulnerable, doesn't it?
Yes.
Definitely. I want people later to see, after watching the film, I want them to go out and have a second thought about doing like on their phone while they're crossing the street or doing whatever. Just be better aware to not do certain things. Like, remember, I saw that happen in red light. Like, oh my goodness. And then they start being more, I don't want them to be paranoid, but be on your toes and pay attention.
Yeah, because they could be abducted and put into a situation they can't get out of. And when they try to get out of it, they're called a red light and severely punished if they're caught, I'm sure.
The red light itself is in the organization, women that fight back, our crew call them red lights. Yep. So when we're aware of a red light, we communicate, look, she's a red light. Let's, stay on top of her. Because red lights are basically trying to escape, so to speak. And they put up a fight. And that is what the organization that we have to be aware of. I would tell my men, look, she's a red light. Okay, well, no, we can't. We have to train her more before we actually sell her, because she's a troublemaker. And Laveta's character, because Laveta is trained martial artist, she is that main red light that's trying to fight back, trying to get the girls to fight back, trying to escape, trying to help the girls to escape. Laveta is the red light that we're all
the hero.
Trying to be aware of.
Yes,
the
absolutely.
Hero. She's the hero.
Yes.
She's the hero. Yes, I'm the villain. Laveta is the hero.
She's definitely the villain. No question.
So, Laveta, in your character, are you abducted into this whole situation? And it's all about your quest to save the people that are there.
Exactly.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah, I found myself, abducted, like you said, and I realized what's going on. Like, I'm a victim just like everyone else, but I don't want to succumb. I don't want to be broken in.
But you portray this so realistically. It's definitely candid content, though, but it needs to be. It needs to be an eye-opener for young women, teenagers, and parents. It's rated R, correct?
Definitely, rated R. Mm-hmm. But it's good for people, even maybe teenagers, to watch as well, because they take teenagers too, right?
But these teens need to see this. They
right. Oh, absolutely. Yes. Well, because
teens are watching R-rated movies.
They are.
Trust me. And they are amongst themselves. I'm working with this elementary school for their production of Lion King, and the school goes up to 8th grade. These 7th and 8th graders are shocking, some of the language that they have and some of the scenes that they're doing in the hallways and in the stairways. So they are aware of sexuality at a young age, but they really need to be aware of human trafficking as well.
The dangers of that.
The dangers of it, yes.
Mm-hmm. Well, just by the very nature of being an adolescent, the fear is not something that they have. They think they're invincible, and they think they know it all. Part of that is the independence they have to assert, certainly. But they can be so vulnerable. And from what I understand, teenagers, most of everything that they get is off of social media, and they can be so easily influenced. It's so scary. And that's where a lot of human traffickers are enlisting teenagers. It's a huge market, and it leaves kids so vulnerable, and parents need to be very aware of all of that.
Absolutely. Youth are the prime target, especially the troubled youth, because they're easily succumbed, by illusions of money or these false promises of a safe home or whatever it is that they're dangling that carrot in front of their noses. I think this movie is going to be absolutely fabulous for youth. That it should almost be shown in schools, especially because because they don't seem to realize, like you said, Shelley, they think they're invincible, that, it'll never happen to me. It will, because those predators are searching everywhere. It's like they're soldiers of Satan, just kind of like sniffing out the ones that are the most vulnerable. Okay, let's get in there. Right. So I think, I speak a lot with youth, and once this movie comes out, I will be promoting this in my schools that I talk to, because I think it's so vitally important to raise your antenna to what's actually around you. And like you said, Laveta, about you want the audience to be realizing that when they walk out to their car, well, maybe pay attention to the surroundings. Youth is going to be the same. Like when you're walking down the street, pay attention. Don't look at your phone. What's around you? Maybe take a self-defense class, Yep. This is going to be fabulous. I'm so excited.
Oh, I think it's absolutely needed.
Stay tuned for more of Women Road Warriors coming up.
Great leaders challenge their people not to stop at the first right answer. Tighten the Lug Nuts is the book that will help you move past that first right answer to be more effective, more productive, and more successful. This book serves as a blueprint that can be easily applied by leaders, entrepreneurs, truckers, owner-operators, all of us in our everyday lives. This is one of the best leadership books you can read to help you accelerate towards your personal and professional goals. Plus, a portion of the proceeds will be donated to truckerschristmasgroup.org. Visit TightenTheLugNuts.com to order your copy today. Kathy DeCaro is nothing short of amazing. She not only drives the world's biggest truck as a heavy equipment operator in northern Alberta, Canada. She's an international motivational speaker and the author of Dream Big, an autobiography about overcoming a lifetime of trauma and abuse that led to dreams of success. Kathy inspires people the world over to change their lives and improve their self-worth. Her book will change your life. She's passionate about personal growth and believes anyone can change their circumstances and overcome their obstacles if they believe in themselves. Her life will amaze you and seriously inspire you. Be sure to order a copy of her book, Dream Big, on Amazon.com.
Welcome back to Women Road Warriors with Shelley Johnson and Kathy DeCaro.
The information your film is providing is so very essential today. People don't realize, and I was doing some research when we first started talking about human trafficking on this show, it's a $150 billion industry. And I don't call it an industry, it's just plain evil. But I mean, that's astounding.
Evil street. Let's create a new word. Evil street.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's horrible. It's horrible. And even in one of the scenes, well, throughout the scenes, my organization is so big. I have other, how can I say, like a drug dealer, I am the supplier.
Yeah, like wholesale. Get it.
Yes. So I am my house is the supplier where other human traffickers are coming to my organization to purchase these girls to do whatever they're doing within their organization.
Exactly.
Unbelievable.
Now, when you were putting this movie together, did you actually talk to people who had been victims of human trafficking? I mean, how did you do all of your research for this?
I think the most in the human trafficking I'd seen was like the movie Taken with Liam Neeson years ago.
Okay.
But I wasn't even thinking about that when I watched it. I was just more so thinking about people getting kidnapped because I do martial arts. I'm thinking because we're always taught different scenarios doing at the dojo. They teach us different scenarios of how, because you read stuff in the newspaper. You see it on the news how a predator got someone, either for kidnapping or whatever. Right. And so I think of different scenarios and try to make it real life. Every modern times what we have now, like or Uber rides and different things like that, and using, like Ms. Karen said, other females, just think outside the box and then tie all together to what they're going to do with these women, why they want to sell them, and make it a creative way to entertain the audience, but also teach them.
Sure, absolutely. And if you can reach just a few teenagers to be aware. And maybe they'll tell their friends because they're going to trust each other more than they're going to trust an adult. They'll say, hey, man, you've got to see this film. We need awareness. And of course, parents need to be aware. I think that there's a lot of naivete on the part of parents, too.
Very trusting sometimes of where their children are going, who they let watch their children. Like, oh, you're just going such and such. Like I have 14 and 16-year-old children and my daughter's 14. And sometimes she wants to go with her friends after school. I'm like, where are you going, with who, what time, where's it located? I need to know these things. And most times she doesn't even go to any sleepovers. They go to friends' houses because I don't know the parents. I don't know who's in the house. So my daughter, I don't let her go. My son, for that matter, either. I just
Good for you.
Absolutely. Yes.
You just never know what happens.
Sure.
I keep my kids close. I'm very protective of them, and they go where I go, or I may. That's about it.
Well, and I heard that they enlist teenagers in the malls. Parents will drop them off thinking they're okay if they're in a group. Yeah.
That's right.
That's why I'm always the driver.
Yes, designated driver.
Yeah.
And another thing is to teach our children to memorize our home numbers or
Yes.
the most important
Yes.
numbers, because with
They know
cell phones, right? You just, it's an automatic thing. I mean, I'm so guilty. I have to look up my daughter's phone half the time. I have to, what's her number again? Damn it. Darn it.
Yeah.
So, right. It's too easy with one click of a button, but if you lose your phone,
yes.
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
what?
Yep.
We're so lazy when it comes to our phones. When I was a teenager, I memorized every phone number,
Yep.
every
Yep.
address. There was no cell phones. We had to use the pay phone. And
Yep.
so
Yes.
I'm aging myself right now, but we are now in a society that we don't memorize phone numbers
No.
or
But
addresses.
they're dependent.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, and it does. It leaves kids and teenagers very vulnerable because all they see is mom.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, when
And
they're
So
the
dependent on
predator-
it for everything.
And
Yeah.
actually, a good key to teach the teens and even adults, don't put mom in as mom, because a predator may see that mom and use that to your disadvantage. You might want to put a different name under mom.
That's a
or
good
dad
idea.
Yeah.
instead of labeling it mom, dad, or have your own codes.
Yeah, because once that predator takes their phone away, and then I mean that's their power. Really, it's a big power.
Absolutely.
Is that child feels, or that person, doesn't matter who, is their lifeline, is their phone, right?
Can I tell you a quick scenario? This happened.
Sure.
A real scenario in the middle of us filming Red Light. Red Light was already written. We're in the middle of filming. And my daughter and I, her name is Star. She's 30. She's also in the film, and her name is Kelly in the film. She's playing, she was a victim, but then it ended up she's on the opposite side. She's on my side. She's helping lure these girls. So as you know, every week, whenever you're on a film set, we had to take COVID tests. So we go to the nearby drugstore to get our COVID test done. And they pretty much know us. We're always there, every other week, every 2 weeks or what have you, getting tests done. So we pull up and the girl comes out this time. It was a small little trailer that we would go in to get our test done. But this particular day, she came out to the car and I said, "Oh, you're coming out today." She's like, "Oh, yeah. I just want to get some fresh air. I'm in here by myself all day. There's no one, just me here." And my daughter and I are looking like, does she realize she's talking to Queen Madam Loray and Kelly? Like the two main women that kidnap, get these girls. So she's, we're complimenting her on her nails. She's like, "Oh yeah, I get them done. Yada, yada, yada," just making small talk. And by the time she finished giving us our test, taking our test, we knew where she lived. We knew that the fact that she was there by herself for 8 hours. We knew that there was no cameras around in this particular part of the parking lot. She was a victim waiting to be kidnapped.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Too much information.
Sure.
Too much information. And mind you, she's we regularly see each other because, every 2 weeks, every month or what have you, we're taking our tests. But this particular day when she came out, again, we're small talking. And yeah, we knew all that about her in that small visit of getting our test done. Unbelievable.
That is scary. You know what? I'm really glad that happened, because that's something that you can use it because it's a real life scenario.
Oh, yeah, we can use it.
Say, "Hey,
Absolutely.
we're talking.
ladies, smarten up. Be
Yeah.
aware."
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
Wow.
I can tell you something that happened to me, and I'd forgotten about this. I was in Detroit. I was covering a convention over at, I was working for the press at the time, at what they called Cobo Hall at the time in Detroit. And I took a cab back to the hotel. And I had a bunch of baggage and so forth that I had collected, which required putting some of it in the trunk of the cab. And the cab driver was yakking to me and blah, 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 and just saying, I could give you a tour and we need to go here and there. I said, "No, going to the hotel is fine." And he was insistent. And I'm like, "Take me to my hotel." And luckily, I had actually chatted with the doorman of the hotel when I'd first arrived. And he happened to be outside, and the cab pulls up, and I have to get things out of the trunk of the cab. The cab driver wanted me to go somewhere. He did not want to give me my stuff.
Wow.
I proceed to start yelling at him. And I was trying to get the attention of the doorman. Of course, I have red hair, I have a temper, and I can be very loud. And I remember the cab driver, hanging onto this briefcase. And the doorman comes over. He said, "Do you need some assistance?" Yes, I do. Thank you. And then, of course, the cab driver backed off. But I mean, that just felt like it was going to be an abduction,
Yeah,
It was.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely was.
And I don't think
like you said, he was insisting that he take you on this tour.
Yeah.
That gave me goosebumps. You know that, Shelley? Boy. Wow.
Well, and of course, as it was all happening, I just reacted. And of course, I have a big mouth. I make lots of noise. And
That's good.
Well, that's what you need, right?
Yeah.
To be vocal.
Yeah. And I was taught that by my parents who'd done a lot of traveling. They basically, when I was growing up, said, you travel, you need to be aware of your surroundings, always. And especially if you're in a place you don't know,
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Mm-hmm. And luckily, the doorman knew that I was a guest at the hotel and came to my assistance. And this was in broad daylight,
Yeah, people tend to think that abductions or anything like related to human trafficking happens at the deep, dark recesses of night, some down some dark alley where, but no, it happens in parking lots, in malls, in everywhere, in broad daylight, in front of people.
So do you actually go through those scenarios, Karen and Laveta, in the movie of how the madam gets all of her victims, essentially, her slaves, if you will?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yes, we show about 6 or 7 kids.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What about online, like luring the victims online?
We have that's a online dating one.
Okay, good, because that's a big one. Big one.
Online dating one scenario, yes.
Oh, I can't wait to watch this movie. Oh my gosh.
Well, you think about it. Online dating is something people have found very acceptable. I would think that they'd be cautious, but you could be anybody online.
Mm-hmm.
People misrepresent themselves all the time. It's so easy to be taken advantage of.
Catfish. Yep.
And for those who aren't familiar, catfishing is when you assume somebody else's identity, you use other people's pictures, you make yourself into somebody you aren't. It's scary. This is another reason your film is so important. People need to be aware and so very careful today.
Stay tuned for more of Women Road Warriors coming up.
Industry movement Trucking Moves America Forward is telling the story of the industry. Our safety champions, the women of trucking, independent contractors, the next generation of truckers, and more. Help us promote the best of our industry. Share your story and what you love about trucking. Share images of a moment you're proud of. And join us on social media. Learn more at truckingmovesamerica.com.
Welcome back to Women Road Warriors with Shelley Johnson and Kathy Tuccaro.
Filming this movie had to be kind of an eye-opener for every single person involved. I mean, even for the makeup artist or for whoever, the lighting people or whoever's on set, even if they might have thought, okay, I'm just going to go on set and do this film. But then once they actually get involved into the foundation of it, the bigger aspect, it had to be life-changing for everybody involved. And I think that alone, just the creation of it, kudos to you, Laveta, and I mean, Karen, just for being part of this and raising the awareness down to, you don't realize how far that ripple extends is what I'm trying to say.
Yep.
Right?
As we had to, as we worked on the casting process, especially the victims, I would ask them if they were okay being called a B or H or, being disrespected or, like sniffed or grabbed or gripped up or pushed down. Like those things might happen on set. So I had to make sure they were comfortable because I didn't want to trigger anyone that may possibly have been in a similar situation. They may have been raped or molested. I just had to make sure they were comfortable. That was the requirements of the film. And on set, as far as the bad guys, we had to make sure they were comfortable being these bad guys, because it's not, the actors we had were not in their nature to be this way, to be like that, but we needed to come off authentic. So I needed them to really delve deep into themselves and get the characters out we needed for the roles. And I believe it came across really, really well. I know one of the characters, we call him Creepy Mark. His name is Mark, played by actor Dante Sterling. And his first, well, it's not his first day, the victim's first day on set with him. After working with him, they were really afraid to even take pictures, like behind the scene pictures from him. Same thing with Miss Karen. They were afraid because she was so mean to them in the character role. But afterwards, we were like smiling and joking around, and but they had to make them feel comfortable. They were a little cautious at first, so she had to go and explain to them, "That's not really me. I'm not really like this."
Yes, wow. It was such a heavy subject when action, but then cut. We had to lighten up the load. We had to have fun. We had to sing. We had to dance. We had to be silly in order for all of us to get through the process. And I don't know if you've seen any of you may have seen, of course you've seen the trailer, but you have to watch also some of our fun behind the scenes. We had to make the behind the scenes much more lighter, fun, and because the subject is so heavy. And the characters are going through some serious situations.
Sure. It's such a terribly dark topic. I would think in some ways it was hard to not take it with you when you went home.
Well, that is the reason before we went home, we lightened the load, we danced, we sang, we just fooled around.
Lots of that silliness.
Yeah.
Lots of silliness.
It's like a debriefing.
Excited almost to be like, they call them happy holes on set. They were happy. It was, but they got into their character. They were took as an honor, because they took it so seriously and they understood the dangers of real life. But we needed, like she said, to laugh, sing, dance, tell jokes, just crack up.
Oh, and this sort of thing could be so very exhausting, emotionally, physically. Because this is really going on in real life. And the fact that you portray your characters so realistically, that is going to get the message out there, and it's going to educate people, which is hopefully another step at stopping this terrible evil trade that's going on. I mean, it's slavery.
It is.
It's just awful.
And it's fun, it's funny how you said it was so, the characters were so into their character that people that don't know, say for instance, people that don't know one of the victims, when they watch this film, when they don't know one of the victims in real life, what? She is so stupid. She is so, this is so, or don't know me, or don't know one of my men, they are going to look at us like, oh my God, I hate these guys. I hate these guys. But those that know us know that, this is not something that we would do. The victim, people that know the victims know, they're smarter than that. This film, I always say, and I would say, I commend her for taking on the script, taking on this project, because it's needed.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. You were going to say something, Laveta?
Yes, as far as the acting goes, when we watched this film, I would say Miss Karen deserves some kind of award for her role, for her acting skills for this film. Like, she really killed her role. As an artist, she definitely did. Obviously, if anyone deserves an award for this one, be Miss Karen for her acting for Queen Madam Loray.
When's it coming out again?
Yes, I was going to ask that.
This summer. The goal is to have it come out this summer, sometime this summer. We'll keep you guys up to date. Yeah. We don't have an exact date yet.
It's in post-production. And as you know, with the film, now we had over 100 extras, and the film was a lot of work, so to
moving
speak.
parts.
Oh, it is.
A lot of moving parts. And so now this part, a lot of donors that contributed to the process, because again, when you do a film of this magnitude, you have to feed the cast, the extras, and so forth.
Sure.
And so it took a lot of people to come on board to assist.
That was a lot.
Monetarily, as well as giving food or catering and so forth. So right now we're in post-production, and now that is another process to actually get the film edited, and we may have to do some ADR work with it, which is audio digital recording.
Right.
And that's where we are with the project right now.
Wonderful. Now, where is it going to be distributed?
Not sure just yet, but plan to have a screening for it for sure. Last year we looked at Cherry Hill Theater, went there, talked to the people. I like that space because it's big enough parking lot for people, and it's a big enough theaters. One had like 400 seats. The other next door to it had 100. So I know it's going to be a whole bunch of people that want to see, waiting to see this film.
Mm-hmm.
So I would love to take it on tour, like even screenings up and down the East Coast for some of the cast members who, they came from even as far as like South Carolina, Virginia, somebody from Maryland, Delaware. We had Jersey people, New York. Like, they were coming from everywhere to be in the film.
And we are looking for distribution. So if either Shelley or Kathy, if you have any leads in reference to distribution, please let us know.
Yes, please.
It would be lovely. It would be wonderful to be able to go to a Netflix or, an Amazon Prime or
that would
Peacock.
Yes.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And distribute and stream it there.
Because so many people are consuming the movies and so forth on demand on Netflix and places like that. Mm-hmm. And you'd reach a lot of teenagers that way, for sure.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And the vulnerable, the people who are the targets, so that they can get educated and then they can tell their friends. And that would be perfect. I think what you're doing here is so needed. And I want to commend both of you, because this is,
thank you.
You're saving lives.
That's the goal.
Yeah. You're doing what you love, but you're doing something for humanity and making a difference. And that is so needed, because let's face it, there are a lot of movies out there. It's kind of like, oh, why was that put together? What was the purpose behind this? What you have put together will help people. And I so believe in that.
And we're actually we were in discussion, I should say, and turning it into a series.
Oh, okay.
So a mini series, whether it's, a 4-part, 5-part, 8-part series. Yes.
Yes. Yep.
Well, I think that would work. Well, look at what happened with the miniseries Breaking Bad. That really brought a lot of things out about drugs, and you really learn to really hate and fear the main character.
Yes.
But it was an eye-opener, and it showed a lot of the victims and all the evil sides of it, obviously, the money, which is pretty much what motivates everything, isn't it?
Oh, yes. In red light, the money is definitely the number one motivation in my organization. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Money and power. Absolutely.
Yep. Yes.
And then you have your other people that, in other words, other organizations that I'm selling to, of course, now they want the power. So you have to see how that all plays out.
Power struggle.
Well.
Sure.
It's a power struggle.
Wars.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And everyone fears Queen Madam Loray. Even though she's older, some of the guys are younger in the organization, but she is the one that they all fear no matter what. Mm-hmm. She's the one. Yes, she doesn't play about anything.
Wow. So I'm curious, Laveta, did you you do martial arts? You say, do you do any self-defense class for women at all?
I do. It's called, actually my business is called, I have a few businesses. That one is called Storms of Defense. So in the summertime last year, as we were raising money, we used the money from the classes towards film. So we went out in the park a few times last summer and was teaching classes to just not even women, children, men, whoever came out. Yes.
Oh, I think that's fabulous. And that's something I really believe that women should take a class at some point.
Yes.
I've been wanting to take one forever. Yep. Mm-hmm. I was supposed to go to Atlanta to do a day workshop with, do you remember our guest, Talk Back Barbie, Shelley?
Yes.
Yeah, with her, she's an ex Secret Service agent.
Yep.
And so her and I were going to put together a workshop down in Atlanta and do half the day. The first part of the day would be on online predators, yeah, and then the second half would be the self-defense, because she's got a few leads. But I am dying to take a self-defense class, because I'll tell you, in my own personal life, I've been assaulted many, many times.
Oh no! Oh my goodness!
Oh,
sorry to hear that.
I'll have to send you a copy of my book. You'll see. Mm-hmm. And so when there's a few times that I did try fighting back, it was like I was hitting rubber. Like it was so in my mind, it was so pointless to even try to fight back because the overpowering strength these men have, especially when they're in a rage. I mean, I'm only 5'6", it's like, holy cow, like, hey, what do you do? So to learn techniques, I think, is vital or crucial or life-saving for women. And so what you're doing is absolutely fabulous.
Yes.
And I think that's something that women should make a point of doing, right?
I was just going to say.
Go ahead.
Sorry, sometimes the women, they may be intimidated because of the size of the man or the predator, but it is not even about the size. It's about the technique and using it to your advantage, your weight and everything. So it teaches you different techniques if you're skilled to learn how to do it. You get out of situations.
Yeah.
And overcoming that fear, because I know as a victim, having this beast of a man come flying at you in a rage, you automatically think, oh God, I don't stand a chance. And even that little pathetic punch or self-defense move that I was trying to do, it was pointless because I personally didn't believe in myself that I could fight back. So I didn't have the power behind the punch. Do you know what I mean?
Right. To empower women, yes.
Yeah, it really has to be a mindset.
Absolutely.
I think.
It really does have to be a mindset, and something women need to learn today. I agree.
Stay tuned for more of Women Road Warriors coming up.
TNCRadio.live is proud to carry the Steve Summers Overnight Drive Show. TNCRadio.live is dedicated to commercial drivers. We offer the news, traffic, and weather you need, and the entertainment, sports, talk, music, and celebrity interviews you want to hear 24/7. We have original shows and trucker podcasts that feature some of your favorites, like Ice Road Alex Debogorski and America's Truckin' Sweetheart Marcia Campbell. TNCRadio.live is convenient and designed for professional drivers. The best part is we're free, and you can listen anywhere you are on the road. With just one tap, you can tune into Steve Summers and us right on your phone. Simply download our app by going to app.tncradio.live. That's app.tncradio.live.
Welcome back to Women Road Warriors with Shelley Johnson and Kathy Tuccaro.
You know, I'm surprised with phys ed in school that they don't have self-defense classes. That would make so much sense.
Yeah, I definitely did not learn this in school. No, my dad was my first teacher, Alfonso Robinson, and then went under my uncle, Dr. Timothy Robinson. So our school is called Black Lion Fighting System. So that's what I've been doing since I was 11 years old. So that's why for me, this stuff comes like second nature because I've been doing it since I was a young child.
Sure. So you would know what to do and how to react if somebody came at you.
Yeah, we teach you to break bones, break body parts, like all types of stuff.
Well, sometimes that's necessary if you've got this big brute coming at you.
Right. And most of the guys that are in my dojo are men. And it's just a lot of men in the class. And it's fine.
It's on my high to-do list, definitely.
So we can expect this movie in the summer. This is terrific. I would love to see it online too. I think everyone needs to see this. It's so appropriate. The timing is perfect because I think that there is even more human trafficking going on. Well, I know North America has it in an astounding amount of it going on right now. And these are the kind of things we can chip away at that and create the awareness for both the parents as well as potential victims.
Our audience is mainline commercial truck drivers, and I mean, it's wide variety, obviously. What piece of advice would you give to the women truckers that are in the stops? A lot of them are alone when they're driving, and any advice that you would give to them?
You know how they have those, what do they call them? Those self-defense weapons that are disguised as something else. I would think carry something like that on you all times. Just have something because you are by yourself. You might need some kind of a small weapon. Even if you, for example, have a pen in your hand, opened up with the cap off, you can use that as a weapon. Your keys, anything you have, sharp objects. You can use even a fork or a plastic thing. If something punctured hard enough on a person, it'll do damage. So something, just, be creative. Little things like that. And it's what I happen to have in my hand. Even if you have sunglasses on, break the lens out, the framing, and use part of that. Anything.
Sure. So a weapon could be anything. Anything you have handy then.
Exactly.
And I would recommend an emergency phone. You know, we have our everyday phones or what have you. Maybe have one extra phone tucked somewhere on you. That way the predator says, give me your phone, and you're going to give them the phone that they see. They're not expecting you to have a second
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's a very good idea.
Yeah.
Does it also pay to be kind of intimidating? I remember being in the Chicago train station, and I was putting some things into a locker. It was an isolated area, and I had gone down there. I had purchased a brand new suit. I was going for an audition, actually, and this guy comes out of nowhere and he says, I want your money. My hand is in my purse, and all I can think of at that moment was, you mess with my suit, I'm going to kill you. So what came out of my mouth was, you take one step closer, I'm going to kill you. He ran. And then I realized my hand was in my purse.
Yeah. You know what you had?
A gun.
You can pull out.
Yeah.
You're so funny. Don't mess. You can mess with me. Don't touch my suit.
But then you pull out a hairbrush.
Right.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Or throw something at them out of fear to catch them off guard. Yes,
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
You definitely, I like that intimidation factor because they don't know who you are. They don't know who they approached.
Yeah,
And
crazy.
yeah,
They don't know what's
Yeah, I think I had my crazy face on. Or
Good,
something.
You have to put that crazy face on. You
like, don't
have
mess
to
with
put
me.
Yeah.
Make them think twice.
that-
Oh, you're awesome.
Well, and I remember just shaking afterwards, going, what did I just do? What just happened here?
Oh my God, that's awesome.
I wouldn't necessarily recommend it, in every situation. And today you don't know who might have a gun who's coming at you too. So, but yeah, I guess.
For you.
But thinking on your feet, that's got to be a skill too. Yeah.
As they teach us in the dojo, the 3 F's, like you either going to freeze, you're going to fight, or you're going to take flight, whatever one. Hopefully you don't freeze any situation, but you might want to take off. If you get out of a situation, run away, do that. If you have to fight, you're going to have to know something and get it, fight for your life. The ideal is to, be a survivor, live to see another day.
Right.
Go home, any means necessary, like get home.
Absolutely. Well, I can't wait till this movie comes out, and I definitely let us know when it does so that we can talk about it as well. And where can people find your trailer? Where can they find more information about the two of you? This is just so marvelous what you're doing.
Well, the trailer itself, the official teaser that's out now, is on our YouTube channel, Lady Ninja Storm Productions.
Lady Ninja Storm Productions. Okay, great.
That's the YouTube channel as well. It's on there. And I can be found Facebook and Instagram, Laveta Cameron, or Lady Ninja Storm, wherever you look, either or. Yep. And my website, one more thing, is LaVetaCameron.com. That's Laveta Cameron, everything.
Let me repeat that for you, just in case people didn't catch that. On Instagram, you can be found at Lady_Ninja_Storm. On Facebook, it's at Laveta Cameron or at Lady Ninja Storm Productions. And you have a website, LaVetaCameron.com. And Laveta is spelled Laveta. So there are a lot of places people can find you. That's great.
Excellent.
I really appreciate this. The two of you are doing such a wonderful service to humanity. And you're doing what you love, too, which is very cool.
And I always tell people, well, my name is Karen Waller Martin. There's thousands of Karen Martins, thousands of Karen Wallers, but there's only one Karen Waller Martin. And so you can find me on all social media. Instagram, however, my Instagram was hacked, so I had to create a new one. So my existing Instagram is Karen_Waller_Martin. And again, I am Googleable.
Yes, gotta love Google. Absolutely. Thank you, ladies. This has been a pleasure, and I love what you've done here. This is going to help so very many people. Everybody needs to see the film Red Light. You won't regret it. It's an eye-opener, so definitely catch the film.
You've been listening to Women Road Warriors with Shelley Johnson and Kathy Tuccaro. If you want to be a guest on the show or have a topic or feedback, email us at info@tncradio.live.
Thank you for listening to another great interview on tncradio.live. All of the material you hear on tncradio.live on our website, our broadcasts, or our podcasts are copyrighted. There can be no distribution without the express consent of tncradio.live and its partners. For inquiries, write us at info@tncradio.live.